Hey, what's going on, folks?
He is on the porch. Um, I brought your cup.
Thanks so
Why?
much.
I'm gonna head out.
All
I'm
right,
pretty
man.
sure you probably ain't gonna be here by the time I get back.
All right, well, again,
You have a safe flight back. You. I always like meeting his friends and stuff. He like to keep y'all under lock and key. Do I need to bring you back something to eat?
Yeah, whatever.
Anything? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. You know, I trust you.
Pussy burgers.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, like put elite no fur,
No.
clinked off.
Clean plate.
It's so damn silly. What's up, folks? Hey, we got my man Barry Farm in the house. He's joining in and hanging out with me tonight, and we already underway. So yeah, I rather just I treat my platform like a conversation.
okay.
You know, and what I'm saying, we all got different takes on the world based on personal experience or whatever. So it's tonight's topic is about women have no code, and like my idea behind it is that there's some things that men just do for each other that's just implied. It's a lot of conversations that we don't have to have based on the fact that we already understand something by nature. You know what I'm saying? Like we generally know who we feel safe around, who we don't feel safe around. We always assess threat. We already figure out how quickly we can uh, deal with a problem or create bigger problems. We have to
We understand that.
we understand that it's like it's kind of like built in.
But majority of that stuff you're talking about, that's just all based off emotion.
It is
A lot of it, majority of it is.
learn behavior, and just because like yeah, you got to learn behavior too.
Correct.
You can't dismiss that part. It's a very complex conversation because it's not to be an insulting one. It's one to show where we have better complementary, compatibility than we do when we're being competitive.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's like arguing in general isn't good.
Correct.
Disagreements happen when you're working together on something. But I don't know if people recognize the difference between the two. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about a couple of these things just casually. So when I'm saying women have no code, they got all the independence, but they still want protection, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Mm.
I know that's kind of hard to touch, you know what I'm saying, or difficult to, like synthesize with everything that you may have experienced. But what would you say to that?
Well, going back to what you said about men, because I'm more familiar being in the military and things of that nature, that I've been in conference rooms where guys just call each other out.
Mm-hmm.
You bump this, and you didn't do this, and you this. I'm talking about to the point to where you're about to throw hands.
Yeah.
But when we walk out that door,
it's fixed.
Let's go to lunch. Let's go. But in the meeting, hey, if it was me, I probably would have punched the guy in the face already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
But I think when you get to the emotional side,
mm-hmm.
and you're not trained and you're not understand that, because in the ghetto or where I'm from,
mm-hmm.
is that we throw hands. You speak to me like that, we throw hands. You don't give me my money, we throw hands.
We're gonna deal with that.
And I think that goes back to that learned behavior you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like your environment is what you become. And then if you go into the households, and that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, because I think in those situations when you say learn behavior, who are they learning from? And then when you start looking at who they're learning from and then who's reinforcing, and then you start figuring out who the enablers are.
Yeah.
And then you got more questions than answers by the time that you start, unraveling it.
And everything.
So it's because it's very dangerous. So I think it's important for people to establish, like a bit of a rule of law. You know what I'm saying? How they deal with each other. And it's really just boundaries, bro.
Yeah, isn't that John Wick thing? He said we're only better than the animals because we have laws that we follow and that govern us. But if we don't have laws that govern us, then we might as well be the animals out there in the world.
Man, very powerful because you're identifying behavior.
Yes.
Because if what separates us, it has to be activity.
True.
So, which is why I talk about sexual discipline so much. Because, like you just said, if we're no better than the animals, well, what's the one behavior that both animals and humans have that defines our social networks?
The ability to procreate, the ability to socialize with one another.
Yep.
Yeah, like
because if you look at socialize, society is part of socializing.
Okay.
People make up society. So when people say, well, society that's like a faceless, way to like not have no type of accountability about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because society is one thing, but we make up society.
Correct.
We have the ability to glamorize or popularize or whatever we want to. We get to assign the value. We make a topic worth discussing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like when people just say, well, society, blah, blah, blah.
Drill down a little deeper.
Let's go down a little deeper. Let's get off that surface stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, okay. Come on, man. Come on. Drew ain't ready yet. Hey, can you hear me? Tell Ava I said what's up.
She can hear you. That's how she ended up in here.
Oh man. Hey, tell her I say hey.
Hey, look, Vic saying hey to you. Look. Say hey.
What's up, Ava?
Say hey. Say hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is my cousin, Mr. Andrew Davis. So, welcome to Code Talk. And tell everybody that's watching, that's baby Ava right there.
That's baby Ava. She the one that's really in charge.
Yeah. So, we over here talking about, I don't know what you heard so far, but
I came in on the last part when we was throwing hands because we didn't pay our debts. I heard that. If you speak to me like this in my neighborhood, we throw hands.
Yeah,
that sounds like where I grew up.
Yeah.
Go.
Hey,
you talk about
Daddy duty don't never stop, man.
Hey, he gotta do what he do.
Man, yeah, like that learned behavior piece, when you start, scratching through the surface of who teaches what, how it's taught, and how much enabling is occurring before it becomes just the culture.
I'll tell you, not to get too personal and stuff like that, but I had to explain, I had a situation to where the parents were really, really, they had adopted a child, and the thing is, the child was acting up.
Mm-hmm.
The child was already 16, 17 years old. So my recommendation to them was like, they were going to give the child up or whatever. 16 years of bad behavior and mistraining don't change in like a year or two.
No.
It doesn't change like that, especially in someone so young. So those 16 years of whatever environment he was in, that's ingrained so deep into him, it's going to take more than 2 years to fix him.
Significant emotional event.
Exactly.
That has to happen. Everybody has their, like, quote unquote, moment with Jesus, moment of clarity. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus, I'll never do it again.
I never do it again.
If you help me out this one time.
Everybody got that. All right, you got me. I'm stopping.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's either happen while you was drinking, while you was smoking, while you was sexually undisciplined in most cases.
Oh, you praying. You praying. That next day, you
think about all the decisions you made.
Yeah.
When you were not disciplined sexually. And then it makes you more susceptible to the wrong type of women.
Mm.
And in your case, you've been married.
Yes.
You got a lot of things that you've been able to accomplish inside your marriage. That how much of that would you attribute to your success?
Well, I tell you, man, my dad and mom, they were some strong individuals. And the way my dad explains is that before me and your mom got married, he said, hey, look, I'm going to take care of the family. You take care of the kids. Mm-hmm. And they had an agreement. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see, my dad would work so hard that I didn't see him too often. Mm-hmm. My mom was there all the time. She'd be there taking us to swimming, taking us to...
Stable. You can count on her.
But when dad came through the door and you saw what dad did, anniversary, dad there with flowers. I don't care how much you work, flowers or whatnot. Mm-hmm. It comes here, her birthday. Oh, she got a birthday present. He made those moments stand out. Mm-hmm. And we learned from him. Yeah. We learned how he handled or how he dealt with. We saw what a marriage looked like.
He led by example.
That's it. And it wasn't by words alone.
No, because what would he be telling you at that time? Like what could he tell 8-year-old Barry that would be from him that you could explain? You know what I'm saying? From an adult's point of view,
I tell people this all the time is that, and I tell him that too. I said, Dad, I wouldn't be here if I didn't see you do it. And that's why I feel sorry for a lot of young men out here, because I saw it. I saw the blueprint. I saw what he did. I saw how he kept the marriage together. I saw how he did those things. So who am I to not do it when I've seen him?
Well, you've already seen him do it.
And a lot of young men out here
ain't never seen it.
So how can they I know it's in them, just because that's how we're built, but to see it,
you can't simulate that.
You can't. So they out there looking at TV, like they said, they got the Bill Cosbys, the Marlon Wayans or whoever,
Yeah.
And that's who they look up to.
For real.
But I've seen it live. I've seen it in person. I've seen a lot.
Seeing it in person too. Like even if your household didn't have it and you see it in other people's household, it still hit different.
It does.
What's up, Drew? You good?
Yes, sir. I think I'm good now.
All right. Hey, we were over here just talking about example, because like this conversation, is about women have no code, right? But we're talking about what I want to highlight first is what men do when they are operating, basically in they most accountable frame, and doing it for the right reasons. Because we don't talk enough about the good examples. We just talk about the friction that people have when it comes down to, somebody not meeting a certain personal qualification to date or start a family with, right? So we have to hold the men accountable first. But in order to do that and do it effectively, you got to have men with a certain experience to share what their version of accountability looks like and about men in general. So that's what we kind of starting at, to transition from the hands,
well,
the
hands is always going to be a part of it now.
Yeah.
I tell you, even I was telling you with my youngest sons, I think at 13, 14 years old, I think most young men, they try that alpha or that adult in that family. So I tell you, my son, he's 23 now, but when he was 14 years old, he came out and I told him, hey, wash those dishes. It was regular routine. But I went into the kitchen and I looked at a plate and it wasn't clean. So I put that down. I got another dish and it wasn't quite clean. So I called him in. I say, look, hey, wash all these dishes over again. And I walked to the edge of the kitchen, but I felt him looking at me. So I turned and looked at him, and I'm ready for all the smoke. I'm ready for all, I know at that moment, if I don't check it at that moment, he's gonna lose all respect, everything for me. And if I wasn't there, it would have been a problem the rest of his life. Yeah. So that's why, like I said, that learned behavior, you know.
That's exactly what it is, man. Because we all know the story of the person that tried pops, and it we all know that story. I got my own story like that. We all, you know what I'm saying. We all go through that where we started, you know what I'm saying. The underarms get a little right, and we think we can try dude over there. He old, he go to work all day, he tired. No, he got just enough energy, son.
And you gonna get all
you off. Yeah, he got just enough.
You don't even know how dumb you are. You know what I'm saying?
You just out here.
You have no idea how dumb you are.
At all. You looking at your pops like he work all the time. He ain't in the gym, and he got life experience strength.
Yeah.
You ain't old enough to be as strong as him.
Yo, he got that I'm mad at the white man strength.
Come on, and somebody got to get it. It could be you today. It could be you today. It could be you today. That should be kids' motto. Don't let it be you today. Because, like you were saying, man, that it's a little fear factor that you got to have from your father. Like if you ain't a little, I hear people say, "Hey, your kids shouldn't be afraid of you." Nah, I need a dab of that. Put a little. It's got to be a little fear because what else you gonna respect? There you go. What do you respect other than the fear that dude might do something to you?
That's a good point because my dad's 78 right now, right? And I tell my kids, I wouldn't go with the hands with my dad. I had to shoot him.
Today,
I walk up on him and shoot. I'm talking about I'd be about 100, 200 meters away.
Yeah. If you get too close, I might drop the gun and it's over.
Hey, bro. Hey, let me say something, man. Like what we talking about is the difference between looking at a lion and then you looking at a frog. Which one you gonna call cute?
All right. Lion ain't never been cute.
A lion ain't never been. A lion is a lion. That's just it.
That's what it is, right? Even
like if you go over there, it don't have to explain itself to you. It say, I'm a lion. I'm just gonna eat you up. You know what I'm saying?
You
thought I was cute.
Yeah, I'm a lion. Now you adjust. Yeah, I'm the lion. What you gonna do?
A lion say you thought it was sweet. You thought I was cute.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like a frog. That's why people get them tattoos, man. You know what I'm saying? They put a frog in cute spots. You know, they put it on your foot, your ankle, or something. You know what I'm saying?
Aquariums, frogs just be everywhere. Yeah, no.
A lion got to be either on your chest or your back.
On your back, right? It. I think a lion ain't the lion like a symbolism of strength and
I mean it's part of the zodiac.
Of all of that. So a lot like Barry was saying, man, all these dudes that's missing out on seeing pops walking around the house in his underwear, man, they missing something, boy. They missing it, dog. Yeah, my pops not the only pops walking around in his tidy white. But that's how you establish dominance. Like I'm in here in my drawers.
Yeah.
This is
the ultimate
my domain, right?
It's the ultimate. My domain. Who gonna say something?
Think about it. Your pops walked around in his drawers. Every time you change clothes, you had to go in your room and close the door. Who house you in?
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? That and the whole point of me bringing up the lion and the frog, and then pops walking around in his drawers is this right here. You cannot respect something that cannot kill you.
And he can kill you.
He can kill you.
And he can kill you. And you not in your brain, you don't think about the law. You just know, hey, the law will get him later. I'll be dead though.
I'm gonna be out of here.
I'm gonna be dead.
So my brother, man, he works in the family and intensive care unit. So when the ward of the state having problems like adopt a child or something, he goes into the families and he deal with the kids and talk to the kids and have people that counsel them and stuff like that, right? And he in Atlanta. So what he tells me, and it's gonna go back to the code. So what he tells me, he said, Barry, when a little kid is acting up, like 11, 12, whatever, he go up to him and he tell him, hey, look, calm down. After all that don't work, he go up to him and say, look, man, I'm not your dad. I'm not your uncle. I will fuck you up. I will take you outside and I will fuck you up. And they're serious. I will fuck you up. He said the kid straightens up. The kid don't want no smoke. Majority of the time, the kid don't want no smoke.
No.
Now, the little girls that are wards of the state, he can't do nothing with them. He got to call the police. He got to call the police to have them come and take the little girl away. Because he can't tell the little girl ain't going to believe him anyway. You put your hands on me, you going to jail. But young men, hey.
You got there's a couple levels before, but I'm still going to call them if you don't listen.
Yeah.
But you still getting beat up.
That's the thing. And the little boy understand that this Mr. Farms going to take me outside and he's going to there's a good probability.
I'm not going to win.
And I don't want that.
Nope.
So I'm going to go ahead. If he tell me to sit right here, I'm going to sit right here and shut my mouth.
There's at least a 90% chance he going to dust you off if he talking about it.
Yeah.
Because 50% is the fact that you're even there.
And that goes back to, like I said, that's that code. We know, hey, look, he gonna fuck me up. Well, he gonna attempt to fuck me up.
Yeah.
Mess me up. And when he knows that,
all hands off.
Yeah, it's a little bit more respect.
You really about to either make a very you're gonna take a calculated risk that might amount to a dumb decision or a valiant effort for no reason. And ultimately, that is an unhealthy competition, man. Because what do you get for winning? What do you get for winning?
Nothing.
What?
You still going to jail.
You still lumped up too, and you still going to jail. Because don't think
you
that if you win, don't mean that you got out of there with no shot to the ribs, not getting statistically. You got something. You got something.
And who in jail gonna believe you won if you can't open your eye? You can't open your eye.
Hey man, even in the Wild Wild West, man. Back in the Wild Wild West, when everybody carried guns, people got killed over things they said.
And body language.
But
body language will get you killed so fast,
man.
If
you said the wrong thing, you better back up what you got to say,
bro. How you moving your hands, how you sit still,
all of that.
Plenty of people that got shot off of bad body language, man.
But it's a respect thing.
You look like you was about to do something.
Yep.
It's a respect thing. And going through time, we're talking about women don't have code, but anywhere in time where it was a time where women didn't have those type of severities, in war combat, men went to war. So they knew the consequences of not doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Up until what? World War
II?
Korean War?
Korean War 50.
We had the whack in World War II. Mm-hmm. But women started operating in like combat at that time. Mm-hmm. But back in the Roman age, back in all those great civilizations,
they was at home with the kids.
So no real consequences. If you fuck up the family, yeah. But those consequences of dying or losing your life,
it hit different.
Never was like that. It never was like that for them.
Man.
So they already had this, like you were saying about the little girls. They're not listening to your brother. They already got it built in. Hey, fam, you're going away if you put your hands on me. You out of there.
And they're like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, and that's all the way around the board. If you looking at it from that perspective, all the way, every time, for everything that they could possibly go out there and mess up, there's a safety net for it.
Yeah.
There's a safety net for it.
Yeah.
A man and a woman go and create something that neither one of them may be ready to take care of. The woman gets assistance. The guy goes to jail if he can't help.
Man, look, all of that comes up to a certain point of one of the metrics I came up with. Women have no code is like, well, why don't they? And it's a lack of objectivity, and that'll be revealed as you know what I'm saying, continue to have like regular discussions. But the whole point about like the respect factor, the fear factor, and all of these are like exercises to figure out what your boundary is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can't try something with your pops, then you less likely to go outside.
There you go. There you go.
Because like your pops I think he reflects the violence that could happen in the world.
Yeah. And he also represents grace because he love your dumb ass.
Because he love man, come on, man.
The dude outside don't love you.
At all.
It's just like when Draymond Green punched homeboy in the face.
Yeah.
He called him. He ain't let him bump his head on the ground.
Right.
I'm gonna catch you because I love you. You a teammate.
You gonna take this, but you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna
know what it is. That was a father, son, big brother, little brother moment. You know, a bunch of times you done had to tighten up your little brother like on some, hey, come on now.
Yeah, come on now. Who you playing with?
Hey,
yeah. I still got your voice.
Who you think you talking to?
Hey, me and my brothers had tussles up and down.
You and I'm, like both of us the oldest. So it was like you always had to kind of get your little brother in check sometimes because he was wild.
Right, right.
He was wild.
But those boundaries though, that goes back to like women and who checks them. So
that's my point. Who can correct them? If they can't take correction from each other.
But when you say women don't have a code, I don't know if you want to specify because like I have a younger brother, he travels the world. So he's been in Africa and he was in Africa and he came back. He was like, hey, look, man, they operate differently. The men check the men. The women check the women. So if you a husband and wife, the house is dirty, the husband ain't got to say the house is dirty. The women come in like, oh, you a lazy woman, this, and this.
Oh,
you do that,
like a pit crew.
Yeah,
like a pit.
They come in and check the woman. You don't cook for your man, you a lazy woman, this. So they check the women.
So the
men
check
the men in the African culture.
Okay, so like this is what I'll say. Sexually undisciplined women have no code. Because in general, most people, their outcomes have something to do with who they sleeping with. Because when you talk about society, people make up society, right? What type of society we have is based on the behavior of the people. That's why they say if you go on the east side of town, expect this certain type of outcome.
Right,
you know what crime is.
Yeah.
Behavior is the one thing that determines where we go to feel safe. You can't go to certain sides of town and behave a certain type of way, can you?
No, you already know. Before you get over there.
Okay. That's why come on. We all know what like you remember back in the day when Wildwood Cinema opened up and nobody was really going to Lakeshore like that. And then when we would go out there, there's people doing burnouts in the parking lot. Like you bringing that stuff from over there
out here. Yeah, you bring it out here. That's why your mom may want you to go in the first place.
Take that shit back to Avon. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta get it up out of there. You got to get it up out of there, man. It's like certain, like hey, they get through it over here. It's like that in Hoover now. You pull your pants up and tighten up your belt when you go over there.
Yeah.
But that goes back to like the different cultures. Like if that doesn't happen in Africa, that doesn't happen in Japan, that doesn't happen in all these countries. Why is it happening here, including the sexually undisciplined? Because I think it happens everywhere, and we want to speak on the majority, the majority of it. So is it just us that women don't have code, or is it just all women in general?
I think generally speaking, because most women ain't responsible for nothing until they have children. Like until you can develop like true objectivity for somebody else. Like you grew up with brothers.
Right.
Somebody said, take your little brother to the store.
Yep.
I don't think little girls are getting raised with that same level of responsibility the same way boys do. And I don't think that you can manifest that without a certain leadership element around to know the importance of teaching it. You see what I'm saying? Like for instance, like you and your wife have had all your kids together, right. Same household, same roof, same journey, and you've had a stable enough household to adopt and raise and produce productive adults.
Correct.
Because you had to have the trust of your household in order to do that ultimately.
Correct.
Which means you had to move in a certain type of way. You have to have thick skin for both the outside world and the inside, because your kids gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
The people that you're gonna get disappointed by, people you ain't expected to get disappointed by, and it don't happen on your schedule.
True.
So you've had to endure real adversity to take care of people who were sometimes disrespectful, where you really couldn't even fire off on them. You know what I'm saying?
It's a little bit of mercy.
Always some mercy.
Mercy.
And the grace element. The very reason the grace element.
Give you a little grace.
The very reason why your daddy could kill you,
yeah,
and let you live,
choose not to.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like the level of emotional self-control that a dad has to have when he got that many people don't ever really get kind of like balanced. You know what I'm saying? The same way. Yeah, I get it. We can talk about motherhood all day, but I'm not a woman. You know what I'm saying? So, and ain't no disrespect to them, but you can't simulate one for the other. You feel me?
Oh, no.
And this is why you got to keep in mind, this isn't about somebody being better than others. We're talking about being complementary and not competitive.
There you go.
That's the whole nature of the conversation. There's some things that are just simply black and white for men. It ain't no vice versa. Well, it's like that on this side too. You know what I'm saying? That just slows the conversation down.
That's all it is, yeah.
Because there's some things that women are just far more excellent than us at.
I agree.
And
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And their social being is awesome. You know what I'm saying? But it has to come, it's fully maximized. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I think that being sexually disciplined is such a major component, because people choose their compatibility with other folks simply based off of the fact that you are disciplined with your body in some way, shape, or form. That discipline may vary, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you got a little bit of hoe in you, you know what I'm saying, to, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't know, you're an IG model, you know, or you function in that low frequency space. But you can't expect somebody that ain't never seen a healthy marriage, healthy relationships, accountable men, and women with a degree of discipline that's different than what's out here now. You can't simulate any of those things, because we can never tell a woman how to be a wife if we've never been raised by women that were wives.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because try to simulate your life with both parents. Like you can't. You don't have to simulate. You already had it. Try to simulate a life without them.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not just take them out and everything else still happens. People's attitudes change. They deal with problems differently. You see what I'm saying? Like the stuff your daddy might be reserved about, your mama might fire off on you.
Yep. And then when you take a parent out, you got to take that side of the family out too.
You got to take the whole side of the family out.
Yeah, they influence the uncles over there, the grandmama over there, the cousins over there. They all influence how you end up coming up.
For real. So, and because like I had to sit down and think about that. I'm like everything that I understand about the structure of what family is supposed to look like and what a man is supposed to be in that family with or without a family, you still got something that you accountable for as a man. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like You got to help somebody. You got to be of service to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you able body in general.
That's a fact.
Should never be with, and we talk about within reason, but you just can't be do nothing. But having seen both sides of my family have nuclear families for the majority. You know what I'm saying? And down to the kids, and I see the difference versus somebody that grew up in a family that had nothing but women.
So the fact of the code is what you're explaining is that there's got to be consequences to not conforming. There's got to be consequences.
Your job got consequences.
If you don't show up to work, you're gonna lose your job.
You're gonna lose your job.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we're saying is that like men, as we talked about, we got consequences.
Period.
We got if we don't do X, Y, Z,
your freedom on the line at all times.
Correct.
At a minimum, your freedom is on the line.
Now let's talk about women and their consequences.
Hmm.
I know women usually get looked down on if the kids aren't raised properly, or again, like I said, if the house isn't, if you're not maintaining your home and stuff like that. But what if the woman is a single woman and she's doing well and she earns a lot of money? What are her consequences, if there are any consequences?
Under what circumstances? Because like if she just being like everyday Joe Blow and not adding any worry or stress to anybody else's life, then it just sounds like she just doing what her circumstances allow her to do. Because that's what we all do ultimately. Like the reason you can have a certain conversation is because you got a certain experience,
right? In
most cases. And as to how deep that experience goes will be revealed as you articulate your message. Because you can say you do a whole lot of stuff, but then at some point in the conversation, you're going to get left behind and left out.
And I will tell you this, like as a successful man, Ranger School, we were talking about Ranger School, so I'm Ranger qualified, right? So the thing about it was I got recycled because of land nav. I got turned around and stuff like that. And I had talked to my dad. And my dad was like, hey, just keep on, do what you feel you need to do or whatever. But in my head, I said, I cannot finish this course.
There's no way.
I cannot finish because I cannot face my dad. I cannot face my brothers if I don't finish the Ranger School.
As a failure.
Because
that's how you're going to feel.
Exactly. So I still have even though my dad was like, yeah, everything's okay, you good. I still had that weighing on me.
Yeah.
But I wonder, do women have that same type of pressure? Or is women pressure, hey, having a family, having children, this and that? My pressure was succeeding. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if women have the same pressure to succeed.
I'll say, to add on to the level of questions to that, I've asked quite a few women and if they have mentors.
Okay.
In most cases, they're gonna say, "Yeah, my aunt, or my grandma, or something like that, or my mom." Like, no, a mentor is somebody else that's doing better than you, somebody who has an outcome that you want.
Yeah.
Do you want to be like your aunt or your mother or your grandmother? And they think about it for a second, like, no, not really. You know what I'm saying? I said, you're not using them for mentorship. They're probably more of an enabler if you look at some of the decisions that you've made based off of their guidance, so to speak. So a mentor is usually what a lot of women lack, because there has to be a woman that they want to be like. And if that's not in existence, if that's a conversation that's ongoing, we need to see it more publicly. Because I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying that the people that I've talked to, they fit within the space of the questions. So a lot of the reason why they don't deal with consequence and stuff the same way is because somebody's not really available to them that they respect enough to take guidance and correction from. Because that's the gap. Because women are not an institution for discipline.
Mm.
Women are an institution for nurturing. Yeah, there's going to be a level of discipline within that.
Correct.
Because just like for us, discipline, the institute of discipline is correction, and correction is love, because anything that helps you help yourself is considered submission.
Hmm.
Because you don't have to teach me anything, and I don't have to teach you anything.
Correct.
But because I'm a man of service, and I see you missing maybe one piece of information here to connect these things, and it don't cost nothing for me to see you win, and all it needs is a conversation, and I'm gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So that's where, like, even though women are very social and they have a lot of social visibility, just because, you know what I'm saying, like the essence of a woman is supposed to have its own vibe, right? But men have to be experts at relationships that are outside of romance. Because we thrive, solve problems, and resource ourselves based on relationships. Because relationships are what build society.
Correct.
Households, communities are built by households. And households are built by strong men. Simply that. You don't even have a credible institution without men part of it.
And in that, we speak in majority.
We definitely talking about majority. Because, like, the minority is insignificant.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, though, that the majority is accepted because there's data to back up everything that we're talking about.
Correct.
We just trying to find a way to have the conversation that doesn't diminish the value of women. We don't want to make it sound like it's a bashing thing, because it's not that. That's why I wanted to focus on the men, because the men that understand what we're talking about, they probably already in these positions saying, yeah, you know. But the men that are not in those positions, they're not concerned with this type of. What do you tell your young men about sexual discipline? Because you talk to, you know what I'm saying, kids and mentor as well. So
my biggest thing with my own and others is education. Education.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, if you, and also the consequences. If you do you remember in the military, they showed us a little video about STDs and stuff like that.
Like syphilis.
I went and got the video and I showed it to my kids.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to understand, hey, these are the consequences of your decisions. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to do it, because I stopped doing that. I don't tell you what to do, what not to do. I want you to understand the consequences if you do it. Now, if you can accept them consequences, you go out there and have at it. But just don't complain about the consequences you get. Don't
complain about the outcomes of your decisions.
So I explain, I educate, and I give them the outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
After I educate them, outcomes, that's it. And you come and talk to me about anything else you want to talk about. I give you the hey, you can wear a condom, but if you don't wear a condom,
hey, this will happen.
This what happens.
Yeah.
So that's how I educate on that sexual discipline piece.
Yeah.
You know. But again, I think as young men, you got to make decisions.
So the sexual discipline piece, how do you think they have benefited from your education approach, and how are they doing right now presently because of it?
My oldest son, he is my age when I had him. He's 1 year older than when I had him, and he's golden.
Mm-hmm.
He's golden. Coaching them not only on the education of sexual discipline, but also how to deal with women.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm more worried. I have 2 sons and 2 daughters. I'm more worried about the women that my son's about to run across than the gentleman that is going to come after my daughters and quote my daughters.
That's real.
Because that's a bad situation. That's my wife.
It used to be like that, though.
When did that switch?
When did that switch?
When did that switch?
It used to be so like I think the phrase was it's like when you have a daughter, when you have a son, you only worry about that one penis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you got a daughter, you got to worry about everybody else's penis.
You got to worry about all the other penis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now you worried about all the vaginas.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Because there's some pitfalls out there.
Oh.
And some of our dads, it got new when the women start wilding a certain way.
Yep, because I didn't have it. My dad didn't give me that conversation, but I had to give mine that conversation.
Yeah, like my dad couldn't tell me, hey, this is how it is when you have a child with a woman and now y'all are no longer together. He didn't know nothing about that.
Right,
bro.
Right.
Look, like the stuff that you would get caught up in was a huge red flag then, but he had never seen it either. Because like if somebody had told me a woman who's in a family with nothing but women, that's a huge red flag.
You didn't know. You didn't. Yeah. You didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't know.
You didn't have. You didn't have a presence of mind to say, why is there just a family for like all the aunties divorced? You
fall into the same narrative that's still going around. Like all the men, them men must have just been trash over there.
Yeah,
they just walked away. But what you soon found out was,
hey, that's not the case.
They come.
hey, we would give anything to talk to a couple of them fellas right now.
Oh man,
boy,
come on.
Like I say, man, something like it should be like a support group. It should be a support group for emotionally battered men.
Dog, I've been saying they it's a disability. I think they ought to get a check.
Come on, man. Come on. It's a form of PTSD because once you have that interaction, that type of explosive interaction with a woman, you are on high alert. Like if the next woman sneezes too loud, it's like a grenade went off.
Yeah.
Hey, like some of the like Wesley Snipes, he talks about it. He was like, man, when I was younger, man, the women used to just the black women used to dog the hell out of me. Get your black ass out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Scam.
But now he's superstar. Like he's so affected by it. He don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I like white girls now. It's too
late. It
was
straight trauma. As soon as he looked over
me into the white lady. So then when white men can't jump and Blade come out, y'all own me. I'm off y'all now.
What was that, T-Pain?
I'm off y'all now. I'm off y'all now. Y'all didn't love me when I was on Double Fever.
Yeah. Don't be mad now.
Don't be mad now. And that's what a lot of black dudes that end up coming up.
Yep.
You run into that same thing. But back to being sexually disciplined, that costs you your life out here these days, man.
Boy,
you can die, and not from a sexually transmitted disease. You can end up in the wrong bed at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You didn't even know you weren't supposed to be there.
Man, how many stories have we read in like the last 2 years where like the daughter then brought her boyfriend to the house and then dad then got into a shootout with the boy that was brought into the house.
And the dad's been losing.
Like
the dad's been losing. All them articles I read,
the ops died. Yeah, for real.
Right. And he was in his house with his wife being sexually disciplined.
And he died.
Yeah.
And he died because somebody in his circle couldn't control themselves.
Don't nobody really, man, look, I saw this one video earlier. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
God damn.
Bro, like weird things happen to people, man. Like
that's not just not so like, how did you get here?
Yeah, because like you're gonna get a perfect storm event at some point. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's inevitable, man.
It's inevitable because like you could be in a great relationship with a great partner and you still gonna have some adversity.
Yep.
Even when you just mind your business, you know what I'm saying? You can look at your phone right now and know who can cause you some problems.
Right now, yeah.
Right now.
True.
No guesswork. You know, if anybody call you right now, you gonna get the message. You'll be like, "Come on, man."
Nope, not right now.
Yep, here we go. It's certain people that if they call you, be like, "Hey, Vic, I gotta call you. I got to go." You ain't even got to worry about it.
No, because you know, whatever. When you pick up on the other side, it ain't finna be a 5-minute conversation.
No,
they in trouble.
Nope.
They need something. Somebody left something. They gotta go somewhere. They need something. It's certain people like that. Just they should only be able to call during like a 2-hour window during the day.
Man, look, I'm about to play this video so you see a perfect storm what I'm talking about when it comes down to sexual discipline. Hold up.
Stop doing. People are gonna call me crazier and wonder why I did what I did. Deception. Stop dealing in deception with people. When I met Ashley, I was openly polyamorous. I slept with women. I was upfront about it. I told her about my anger issues. I told her about my felony. I told her about prison. I told her about being controlling, violent, everything. I gave her every opportunity to walk away. I gave her every opportunity to be honest with me, but instead she chose to constantly deal in deception.
Rayshawn Smith uploaded a lengthy video to Facebook justifying his actions right after kidnapping and brutally killing his ex-girlfriend, mother of 3 Ashley Hardin. How could anyone do this to someone they once cared about, and what would make anyone think that taking this woman's life could ever be justified? Welcome to Viral Crimes. Subscribe and hit the bell icon for more stories. This story takes us to Rockford, Illinois. 38-year-old Ashley Nicole Hardin was a loving, devoted mother of 3 children. She had a wonderful voice and loved to sing.
Thank you, Lord, for all you've done for me. Yeah.
But being a mother and being able to spend time with her 3 children brought Ashley the most pleasure in the world. Ashley lived in a single-family home at the 300 block of Cole Avenue with her 3 children and her 46-year-old boyfriend Rayshawn Smith. Rayshawn had a criminal past, and he discussed his journey in life in a book he published called Sociopath or Wrong Path, Memoir of a Teenage Drug Dealer.
The book is definitely based on my life. It's based on a lot of people that I've run into in my life. I'm not a writer. I just had a story to tell. This book covers like the first 19 years of my life. I'm 43 years old now.
Rayshawn and Ashley appeared to have found love in each other. The two appeared to have a loving relationship and would post their happy moments online.
So we are having a blast, feeling the wind in my little tiny locks. This is amazing. Around us. This is so cool.
Rayshawn also appeared to be close with her children, which Ashley expressed on a Facebook post. It read, "One of my favorite pics of us. Thankful to have this guy. He goes hard for me and my kids, never hesitating to love, care, and provide for us. Nobody's opinion comes close to the reality of who you really are, R.D. Smith. We appreciate you daily, not just in good times, but in the rough times as well. I love you, exactly as you are." Neighbors reported that the couple lived together in the home for about 3 years. At some point, Ashley split from Rayshawn. On Saturday, July 23, 2022, Ashley was at home with her 3 children when she smelled a strong odor of gasoline. She went outside to investigate the smell, and her son followed her. They spotted a white car outside, and that's when his mother Ashley instructed him to go back inside. After he went inside, his mother disappeared. She never returned to the home. Around 3:45 a.m. on Saturday morning, officers from the Rockford Police Department responded to a call from Ashley's son, worried that his mother was missing. They arrived at Ashley's home, and her son told him that he had seen his mother near a white car outside of their home, and that she vanished after that. During the course of their investigation, they learned that Ashley was missing under suspicious circumstances. The Roscoe Police Department would later receive a call about a dead body behind Ecolab, which would be identified as Ashley Hardin. Her body was discovered several hours after her son reported that she had gone missing. She was discovered behind Ecolab, a company in Roscoe, Illinois that Rayshawn was reportedly employed at. Ashley suffered 2 gunshot wounds and suffered from several severe injuries to the head. When detectives arrived at the scene of the crime, they discovered 2 live rounds and a number of unused zip ties. The white Cadillac driven by Ashley's ex-boyfriend Ray Sean was seen on surveillance footage from Ecole Ab entering the parking lot at 2:56 a.m., which was 50 minutes before it was reported that Ashley was missing, and then exiting the area about 40 minutes later. During that time period, Ray Sean discreetly imprisoned Ashley against her will inside of his vehicle. Ray Sean was promptly identified as a person of interest in the disappearance of Ashley, and he was swiftly placed under arrest later that morning and charged with first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and aggravated unlawful restraint. Prior to his arrest, Ray Sean released a disturbing video on Facebook in an apparent attempt to justify his actions. Ray Sean went on to claim that he had been upfront with Ashley when they first began their relationship, opening up to her about his desire to be with multiple other women, as well as opening up to her about having both anger issues and previous felony convictions. Ray Sean is said to have served prison time as a result of a conviction for home invasion that he received in 1995. In the video he states, "I gave her every opportunity to walk away. I gave her every opportunity to be honest with me. But instead, she chose to constantly deal in deception. And I'm tired of it. Period." The video, which was riddled with profanity, also made the accusation that Ashley was intimately linked with other local church pastors. However, the video provided very little proof to support this allegation. Ray Sean justifies taking Ashley's life by basically saying that she knew he was a bad guy. There is no proof of what she knew of him before dating him, but I'm sure she didn't think the man that she loved and trusted around her children would be capable of one day killing her. When Ray Sean posted the video explaining why he killed Ashley, he tagged her Facebook account for all of her friends and family to see it. A good number of Ashley's friends responded on the post after it was published, and it would seem that they did so before it was announced publicly that Ashley had been murdered. And other people expressed their hope that Ashley would be discovered alive and well. Ray Sean, let her go please. I am begging you, don't hurt my baby.
Man.
What the hell was that?
Hey, a worst case scenario. That's like the worst. That's seriously like the.
Hey.
You know how extreme that is?
Yo, he's crazy.
And she was foolish too. You see what I'm saying? Because like she knew and she accepted this. If everything he said was true and she still accepted it.
But okay, the video starts off by saying he killed his ex. So at some point she did walk away, right? That's how the video started.
Yeah, I think so.
So
but you know, go ahead.
Come on. I'm just saying. You said you gave her every opportunity to walk away.
Yeah.
The video starts by saying she was your ex and she was in her home on July 23rd. You weren't there. You had to drive there.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I was gonna say,
what do you? And even if I told you, hey Vic, I like to rob banks in my spare time, right? That might affect when and where you jump in the car with me, right? Because I could pull over at any time and hit a Wells Fargo with you in the car.
Yeah. I'm gonna run it
so the day that I do mess around and tell you we going to Chick-fil-A, but I hit the Wells Fargo first, and you in the car, that don't give me the right to come back in the car and wipe you out so you don't snitch on me. When he knew I was going to rob the bank, like just because you are honest with somebody don't mean that they have to accept it and kick it with you. Maybe you okay, let's say he was honest and upfront about all this anger and all this other stuff he had, right?
Right.
And she was like, okay, you know, women like a project. They like to see if they can change them, spin them around. See if they can spin them around. Maybe after 3 years, I can't fix him. And she expressed like, hey, this is a little more than I can handle. Me and my kids need to be somewhere else. Now, what do you, Mr. Psychopath, best-selling author, what do you do now after she leaves? You go and wipe her out, right? Because, I told her I wasn't with none of that when we started this. Dog.
That's a true narcissist right there.
And don't we have the right to change our mind when more is revealed to us?
You should.
So you can tell me something, right? Like the robbing the bank thing. I can tell you I rob banks all the time, but until I pull up in front of a Wells Fargo and pull the thing down over my face, you probably gonna jump out the car and run at that point.
I'm not associated.
Yeah, like I don't know this guy.
Okay, yeah, now he really robbing banks. I'm cool on this friendship.
Hey,
but I tell you, man, men, I don't think men are really supposed to be emotional. I think when you become emotional, that's when bad things happen.
Kevin Samuels told you to talk to a tree.
Yeah.
Talk to the tree.
Something, because I tell my kids, you know, when you shoot somebody or something like that, you shoot somebody, that's not really emotional. You wanted to get them up out of there. But when you stab somebody 20, 30 times, that right there.
Yeah. You had some things you wanted to say to them. That says they're not stabbing somebody 30 times says they're not answering my phone calls.
Exactly. But
a black guy ain't good enough for you.
But also, when you're talking about being sexually disciplined, we all know that there's one woman that, you know, we were whipped over or we were really infatuated over or whatever. So we all go through that at a younger age, mostly for most of us.
For most of us, yeah.
And when we get in that zone, we willing to do some things, you know, change our whole undertaking for that undisciplined.
Yeah. But you go
that's
from
what the accountability part
like
comes
that.
in though. Because he went on that, he made that long video when he really should have just got on there and said, hey, it's the snappy nappy dugout. You just gotta say what it is. You just gotta
it was too good for somebody else. It was
if I can't get it, I'm closing this store permanently. You gotta just say what it is.
Shop closed.
That's that. You can't kill somebody and make a video and say, let me tell y'all why she made me do
it. that's boy.
That's Pat, but he wrote a book about psychopaths. He had it in the video. He was holding it up. Hey,
if a red flag came with a commercial in the book,
he published his red flag. He published it. He published it. He published it. I feel bad. I know we kind of making jokes, but I feel bad for those kids. But that whole situation sounds crazy on both parts.
On both
because
parts,
if that's what he's telling you, then you should have ran. Like, don't finish the shrimp. Get up and go.
But I do believe, man. I believe that a good woman can make an average man great. So I think it's women nature to change and build, and that's why they say women are the prize, because they have the ability to elevate a man. You come in there, you support that man, and you be their helpmate or whatever. That man is going to step up and do what he need to do. So she came in thinking, you know, he reformed. Hey, I can do it. I'm not a quitter.
He got something to work with.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it that good old. Now they stay in the hole for a while. If she stay a little bit too long, but when I've seen women that sin it, they ain't going nowhere. Even if he's wrong, they ain't going nowhere.
And another thing that you could bring up too that would help is another man's perspective on that man. Because if the father of those children were still having a good relationship with that mom, he'd have been in a way different. Hey, I don't know about Buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know about Buddy. Or maybe they've been in some of the same circles. Somebody knew and was trying to get that girl away from dude. Somebody at the Eco Lab was like, nah, something ain't right about homeboy.
Yeah.
And how you get a job at Eco Lab with a felony?
Hey.
She worked there. I don't know if she had one, did she? I ain't hear that in the video.
The part of the video they say he was because he dumped her body where he worked. He worked at the Eco Lab. They found he was swiping his badge.
Hey, see this is why. Hey, look, he hear all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
But
no, because you got the slow. I'm gonna go Google. There's a documentary on that. I need to know more about that story.
Yeah,
because like where did y'all meet? Was this an online thing? Yeah.
There's a book too.
Yeah, there's a book.
There's a book.
No,
the book came out first. That he should have never been stopped after he wrote the book.
It probably got the instructions in it. Because that's how narcissistic he had to be, bro. He was like, because he said, I told you. He said, I told you.
And he felt justified in, I told you I was.
And blamed her for what he told her. Like, bro, you know, like, that right there is the example of when a man has no code, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Got to tell the woman she out here sleeping with the pastors, local pastors. Like, it's just a.
Now think about every argument or disagreement or whatever impasse you've had when you think about the way women deal with the accountability of what they say or what they do, right? The way he was behaving is everything that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because I can show you what code and no code looks like. When you put a person in an environment that's in the lead or supposedly in the role of or whatever that looks like, right? If you got an individual that'll go to those links, you're dealing with something that you can't understand. You know what I'm saying? There's a big difference in between what women see as intimidation and what men see as intimidation. You know, like a woman could say, "Oh, he's intimidated by me," and they'll run off like, you know, like they job, you know what I'm saying? Anything that has to deal with something that they can source on a piece of paper, you know, like a resume almost. When a man is intimidated or is capable of intimidating, it's because your life is on the line. Like in a barehanded situation, there's a low-level threat, and that's why respect is paramount for men. Men don't go to places where they got to be in defensive positions. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why we like, hey, what side? Like if you say right now we're gonna go out, you're gonna ask me what side of town we're going to, who driving, who the you know what I'm saying? If it's that type of night, and you know what I'm saying. There's gonna be some other risk assessments made before you commit to wherever you're going. You know what I'm saying? Because the type of you wouldn't go to an R&B concert with the same level of threat that you would for, I don't know, a rap concert with.
Now it depend on what group we talking about.
Depend on that's what I'm saying. Like but you see what I'm saying? Just the fact that there's even a conversation.
Yeah, you mess around and go to a Chris Brown concert, it might be something.
It might be something. The wrong R&B concert, you might still. Somebody might have beef with Jacquees. You don't even know. You know what I'm saying?
You didn't know you had that going on.
Yeah, I came here to see somebody moonwalk. You know what I'm saying? And that was
right.
Ava don't care. Ava don't care, man. Hey, man, daddy and don't never stop, man.
Don't.
Nuh-uh.
Don't.
Yeah. So you know when you look at a situation like that, you go from talking about sexual discipline, like with the STD conversation that you had. Now you got to show your kids something real. Because this is happening like to people that's in their 40s, man.
You know,
and they got children that they're responsible for.
So what I do with my sons now, I send them, and the young men I mentor, I send them videos, I send them sayings and stuff. Some of the videos we were watching earlier,
affirmations.
I send it to them. But sometimes just sitting there talking to them, they don't quite hear it. When I start sending them these quotes and sending them these videos, I wanted to sink in.
So it can register with something you've already said.
Exactly.
Versus and something that's universally understood.
But I got to stay on top of it.
Man, because you slack. If you get bored and you think it's ineffective, they won't trust it.
Mm.
Because repetition, you know what I'm saying, builds trust, builds positive outcomes, you know what I'm saying, it builds relationships.
And you know the crazy thing my dad did also? So my oldest brother, he had a girl that came over, and he was thinking about marrying this girl. And they got into it or whatever, and she got into the car and left the house and stuff like that. And my dad, he didn't tell him not to marry her, but he said, "Hey, look, son, if you marry this one, you're going to have your hands full." He said, "You're going to have your hands full."
Yeah.
And that's what I plan on doing.
Yeah.
When my sons bring their potential wives or, you know, someone they really like, I'm not going to tell them not to marry him. I'm just going to tell them my honest opinion.
It's going to be a degree of maintenance.
And if you're willing to accept it, that's why I think we get a lot of things. I'm out of the telling them not to do it.
Hey, look,
this
is what I see. You can either accept it, because you take it into consideration. If you don't, cool.
That's it. Like I was talking to some kids about teen violence.
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, man, if you feel strong enough that you have to go and beat down this dude from another hood or something, like, you got to stomp him out. I ain't going to tell you that not to do it, but I want you to accept that you got 10, 15 to 20 years coming with that.
Some come with it.
Now, if you think it's worth stomping that dude out for those 15 years of your life, then go stomp him out. Because when you stomp somebody in the head, that's attempted murder. You're doing at least 10.
Out top.
You're doing at least 10 if something happened to that guy. And so I think a lot of my conversations come down to making a decision.
Yeah.
Making and understanding the consequences of the decision and then making the decision.
You have to work backwards. You have to reverse engineer what's most likely to happen if you make the choice that you make. Yeah. Most likely, most probable, you know what I'm saying, and least probable. When you weigh all these things out based on the act that you want to do, it should change your decision.
But you know what it is, though? We're 40, something like that. I'm on my sons constantly. Now, we got a whole lot of men out here don't have somebody on them constantly.
And some of them older than us, and nobody on them was ever on them.
And then the guys that do business, I grew up around a lot of drug dealers and stuff like that. And the thing about it, like, if they was talking to me, they got one mindset. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that maturity mindset.
Yeah, at all.
So they pouring me even bad information. So if I ain't have my dad there or that male role model there,
you could have easily been ruled by bad information.
And then next thing, I'm doing 15, 20 years.
And you don't find out until after you in there.
That's why you break down and cry when the judge give you that sentence.
Yeah. You
break down and cry and holler and everything.
Yeah.
But if you knew what was coming,
because like you said earlier, you're like, hey, if he just get up and go shoot him, yeah, I get it, because he already had that coming.
Yeah.
But if you grab that knife and you hit him with it 30 times,
30, 40, 50 times,
don't blink when the judge give you time.
Nope. That's what I think they did in the mafia a lot, man. In the mafia, hey, man, I need you to go take out Sal and just do them 5, 10 years for me, and then I got you when you come out.
I got your family.
So when you went and took out Sal because you was a good disciple or whatever, you knew you had 10 years coming with it. So when he said the judge say 10 years,
that was infrastructure.
I already know. I got you on the inside. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look,
you signed up for this.
Yeah, but a lot of kids aren't being mentored to know what they signing up for.
That's the part. They're not showing them. OGs is not showing them the fine print in them contracts.
Exactly.
Look, man, I made the connection on the women have no code thing with what you just described. I said at the lowest level, even dealing in the street, men that still do nefarious activities, they still have some sort of code that they operate by.
They do. Even
at the lowest level, because even when we all engage in a nefarious activity, you still got to have some rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And even though it was organized crime, the only way that they could break it up, because they, defeated pretty much the organized crime family, you know what I'm saying, the structure, because they now can't trust anybody, because the rat was the most valuable person.
Yeah.
They made movies off of people
rats.
ratting.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like they showed us in film the decline of the organized crime families. You know what I'm saying? We still had a chance to observe principled men. We ain't talking about like the most valuable men in society. We're talking about principled men. And even at the lowest level, you never ratted. You did what came with it. Just like, hey, you go knock off Sal, you know what I'm saying, 10 years, they go sit down and do it flat-footed, and they protect it on the inside because there's infrastructure. So that's my point. Men have code even down to the lowest level. Accountable men do. And you can be accountable and still be doing things that you ain't got no business doing.
I understand that too. I got a friend in DC. He used to be out there in the streets and everything. You know, he's a little older now, but he's still around the way. And what he was telling me, he was like, man, because we had a couple of young people die, like real young, like 8, 9 years old. He was saying, he said there was a point when I was out there, I don't care if there was a kid or whatever, you know what I'm saying? We don't do that. Women and children, we don't do that. But these kids now, hey, they don't care. They don't care. They're gonna shoot up everything. They're gonna take out anything. But he said, what we had a code. These are just things you don't do. You know what I'm saying? You don't kill women
and it was understood across the board.
And he say it's not understood now.
And a lot of the reason it's not understood is like, who raising them?
That's exactly right.
It ain't men.
I agree, because a lot of the men that grew up in
this is why you get girls running over people with cars.
Ooh.
Like it's just some things that we don't do. Have you thought about getting in your car and go running to somebody over to get even? Like, how do you think that's gonna go?
But that's where that emotion. That's where these emotional men come from. These emotional men that think without consequences.
Yeah, and most of them are sexually undisciplined.
Yep.
Sexually disciplined men are focused on something completely different, man. We are not doing the same stuff that sexually undisciplined people are. All of us are sexually motivated, but what makes you sexually disciplined is whether or not you got some other obligation, some other you got to be on your purpose. Whatever your purpose is, you got to be occupied by something that's greater than you, right? So you have no, so if you submit it to what your purpose is, then you have to be disciplined enough to carry out the tenets of your purpose. You don't have time to be involved with another relationship that puts you in crisis. So most sexually undisciplined people are in crisis of some sort.
But when you talk about that sexually undisciplined, I think back to these other countries out here that have like the red light district and stuff like that. And a lot of these men in those countries, hey, look, I got to get this up off me. I'm going to go ahead now here to this red light district.
Discipline.
It's governed, so everything is safe. Women are tested and things of that nature. I go ahead and get up off me, and then I come back. Oh, I'm good. The women over there in those countries, they act a different way because sex is off the table. You can't hold me hijack for some sex.
Yeah.
Because I go right across
I go across the street
and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Starving.
And I'll be right back.
So that's why these other cultures, you know what I'm saying, a little different.
It's like if you make, I use the analogy like if you made all drugs legal, I'm still not putting a needle in my arm.
I still don't want no crack.
I don't want none of that. Like, so if you look at some people's addictions,
Okay.
Some people are addicted to a certain lifestyle that comes with women, not necessarily addicted to women, but like, you know, like if you got a recovering alcoholic somewhere, the worst place you can invite them to hang out is a bar.
Correct.
It's kind of disrespectful, you know what I'm saying? But like, but there's some people that thrive on that social engagement, and that's the only behavior that puts men and women in conflict. You know what I'm saying? Like, because What kind of problems? Like, why would you have problems with a woman that you're not in a relationship with?
How does that happen?
How does that happen? Like, you know
Now,
what I'm saying? Like,
different different scenarios. Like, you know, you work
you
with
might have
women,
work. That's yeah.
stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But I always make it a habit to say I'm not arguing with a woman I ain't sleeping with.
Hey, look, if I don't come in her and I don't come from her, she can't do nothing but work for me or twerk for me, and I mean that. Like,
Oh man,
you are having an argument with a reproductive person over an unproductive topic. What do you think you're gonna get out of that?
What are we doing?
hey, I don't argue with men either.
That's what I'm saying, and that's my point.
When it comes to a point where I understand we're just going to agree to disagree, hey, I leave it there. I leave it alone.
But see, disagreement and argument ain't the same thing. One is definitely, related to the other. So they're similar. But like we talked about this, because a lot of people don't know how to define the two because they think one is the other. A disagreement might be me, you, and Drew all got a different way to solve the same problem, and the argument might be, the disagreement might be which one we should try first. And then eventually that sorts it out because it's like you tried your way, I tried my way, or something like that. We determine, what makes sense for the moment. But an argument is usually based off having a debate. In a debate, you're not prepared to surrender your foxhole.
Right,
you defend it. So you got your confirmation bias, you got everything that you prepared to do, and then you prepared to prove your point. Somebody has to get emotional for the debate to transition into an argument. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that usually reveals who the other person is and how they think of the other person.
I got you.
So that's why, like, we don't argue because I don't want to taint, the image that I have. Especially if I already respect you.
Correct.
I'm not trying to go that far.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not worth it. There's like nothing in it. So like with men, there is it's almost like just being respectful. We say, you know what, I don't argue because I want to maintain the respect that I have. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no enemies.
I want to discuss to find out what's the best solution to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And discussion can be intense too.
It can be.
It can be intense
because everybody's passionate about some component of the conversation.
But when you start getting emotional, you start getting personal, and you start getting feelings in it, and that changes it from the discussion.
Yep. And generally speaking, the people that like to argue, they're generally sexually undisciplined.
Yeah.
Because like a man that's boastful, that makes a scene, ain't nobody that you want to have around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you say that the men that are sexually disciplined, they will be disciplined mentally, physically, and overall discipline.
The sexual discipline piece is not even the priority piece. It's just a byproduct of having a purpose.
Okay.
If you don't have no purpose, you're going to do the cheapest thing you could do. And you can go hump anybody. Stray animals have, you know what I'm saying? They bump their uglies in the middle of the night out of some alley underneath the street light. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing nothing no different. It's a low frequency behavior. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it in a unsafe manner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could be single and you could be disciplined and you could be motivated all at the same time. But we talk about when you're sexually undisciplined, that's just a snapshot of how you really function in life. You know how like we look at somebody, we said when you see the spouse, you be like, oh, I understand.
Yep. It all makes sense now.
It all makes sense. Like, oh, okay, I see it. Yeah. And then either that draws lines for men. It probably draws lines for women too, but like as us talking about things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't work with a high-strung person before.
Several.
Sometimes at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see all their spouses, you like, I understand. And that still ain't no excuse. It's just saying that I understand.
Yeah.
So you can just see it. And it's prevalent. Like it's certain. We come from the same places in society, man. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't coming from no superhuman place. We come. Look, we served in the greatest social experiment ever.
Yep.
In the military, everybody got the same clothes, get paid the same, got the same upward mobility, the same opportunities, same chances to go to the same duty stations. The MOS dependent. Since some places you just ain't gonna never go to based on MOS. You got the same, start to the duty day, generally speaking. If you're a leader, you already been identified differently. The only thing that can derail your time in the military is what you do with your time.
Yep.
And most people, when they do something with their time, if they not all the way off on some illegal activity, they usually kicking it with the wrong people. And the wrong people are gonna put you in a situation where, like you was talking about before, like you was in Iraq and somebody popped out the chew during a head count or something, right? When you have one of them accountability formations, you come on, man. How many times we done seen the wrong people with the wrong people? Cause like
that shit is funny.
Hey man, go ahead and tell him what you was telling me that day anyway about that.
About that story, well,
Yeah.
you on your, we was, man, probably, I don't know, probably halfway through the deployment. So you once you've been out there for it, you kind of hit that sweet spot in the deployment where everything is a routine. You going to the gym at the same time, you eating at the same time, you kind of know what's going on, you leaving work at the same time, you got all that going on. So it was like you got your homies you kick it with. So it was maybe like a group of us, man. Say it was like 6 of us. We was all in the same unit, couple guys, couple girls. So man, we would notice like when we would just be outside, just hanging out, a couple of the homies would get missing, right? So one night, people used to venture off to other camps or whatever, right? So man, one night I don't know who dropped a dime on them, who did what. It's like, man, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, like the first sergeant, the commander just got up and said, head count right now. Where you at? So man, people show up. So now you kind of get a head count. You know who missing, right?
Right.
So at that point, your folks know who missing. So you got it. It's accountability time. Where are you? We're in a foreign country, people, and you don't know where 10 people are. Right? So they go knocking on doors, man. And we standing like across from the door they knocking on is one of the homies' door that normally would be with us. You know what I'm saying? Except they wasn't at this time. So knock on the door. You see homeboy come to the door, no shirt on. So I'm like, oh, he just in his room chilling. Then you hear the first sergeant say, hey, you in here by yourself? Pause. Pause.
Oh.
Did you hear a little shuffle like somebody was trying to put their shirt on?
Right.
Then you see a little ponytail come to the door, and now the ponytail is standing next to the fella with no shirt on. Busted, right? You ain't even in this company. This a Bravo company head count. You in charge. You don't,
man.
You shouldn't even be here.
Shouldn't even be here.
So at that moment, the rest of the gang of homies, we kind of like chuckling to ourselves, like caught them slipping, because this is the discovery is twofold. They got caught in the room by upper management, and we also didn't know that y'all was hanging out in rooms together after hours. Now it's all on the table, and right at the moment when in your head it's all formulating, like you putting the pieces together, I hear somebody in the back is singing New Edition, Is This the End? Like right at that moment.
God dang.
It's like, what?
Is this the end?
So somebody snitched.
Somebody had to pull the plug on them because that I didn't even know you could do that. Like they did that. I mean, you know, on some level, you know, hey, they can call a formation anytime. But that's
If
like
we
a
had
damn
problem
fire
or
drill.
we had something, then yeah, I see accountability or
Yeah.
whatever.
Who's expecting a fire drill? Nobody. But that go back to, you know what I'm saying, being where you now, not to mention that both parties involved had spouses that weren't each other.
Man, whole nother level of fraternization.
It's all bad.
And like, even though that happens
often
in
that's
just
the
military.
Come on, you can write that story a million times.
Even portrayers couldn't dodge it.
Yep.
Man, look, that whole Vanessa Guillen thing.
Yeah, down here.
At Fort Cavazos, you know what I'm saying? You know, black people are already gonna call it Fort Cavassier.
I got it. I got that too.
Yeah, like it never goes in a positive direction when you got the worst people involved. It just can't.
How do you fix it? Is it the education piece? Is it the mental piece?
Yeah, we can start there, man. Like the health, like you do the health classes at home.
Mm-hmm.
Those are important because what they don't do it in school no more. We was in school the last time they probably did it, and when they did it, they was like, "Hey, if you don't do this, you get." They just showed you a picture of a penis with bumps on it. Yeah, and everybody was like, "Yo," they didn't really teach you nothing. Yeah, they didn't teach you nothing. So the home education, that's a good part, and it's just got to evolve as we continue to have children. Like you got the health classes going on at the house. Your sons are they probably gonna take it to a different level. Like but they might be able to have a hologram something come and show them how to do it by
their position. That's how you do it. This how you put in the work. But what I was gonna say to that though is that what I've seen since I've been out, man, most of these homes are homes. Most of these homes are homes. Most of these, man, most people are making down there where I'm from about $40,000, not even $50,000. They work in a second job. They got the bills. They don't own their home. You know what I'm saying? They probably don't got a car, or if they got a car, this car with problems. And then you got kids at home too. So you're a single parent. You got 2 jobs. You don't got reliable transportation. Is that a home?
Nah, man, you hustling too much to parent. See, that's why it takes 2. That's the part we got to fix first.
That's it. I agree with that.
That even if both parents don't
if
stay
you need
in the
2
home,
incomes, even if you need 2 incomes to just date, like think about it, right? They got to have their own incomes even just to be qualified
to go outside and get to know somebody. You got to have 2 incomes.
Yeah, it costs. Yeah, exactly. So like it definitely takes 2.
2 parents have to, even if one of the parents don't stay in the home. Hey fam, move in the house next door. You have to stay connected.
Yeah, my granddaddy did.
You gotta stay connected to the parental part of that family. Because if you stray away too far, you put all the onus on the mother or whoever's the primary custodian. And the support and the emotional part of that's why it's tailored for 2. Because if one person is out there hustling, bringing it to the crib, somebody got to be at home nurturing.
But I just saw an article that talked about black men. Mm-hmm. Like we're doing a pretty good job.
Yep.
We've stepped up a good little bit to take care of our children, even with or without the mother.
Always have.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we was ever doing a bad job.
That point right there.
Because you know what it is? Men don't go champion themselves for doing the stuff that they are responsible for. Ain't no podcast for responsible men.
No.
Think about it,
outside. We've been outside. Like when you go places with your kid, like when I go places with my daughter, I can see people kind of looking different. No, I don't know what y'all looking at because I see it everywhere I go. Every time I'm somewhere with my daughter, I see she goes to speech therapy twice a week.
Right.
Every time I take her, it's 3 other dads that's car next to mine sitting out there waiting on their daughter to come out this like. So it's always just been like a numbers thing. I don't even know where they got these numbers from, but I've always seen dads with their daughters. I know a bunch of dudes that dads didn't grow up in their house, but they was with their dad every weekend. Dad took them to the barbershop. Dad took them to go buy the prom suit. Dad,
it was accessible.
So I think that's the main part. It's got to be open communication between them 2 parents, and they got to be able to be in each other's business. I'm sorry, that just got to be.
I think we got to take
the betterment of the child. Y'all got to still communicate like y'all go together.
I do you one better, man. Like, I think men just have to give each other their roses while they still here. You know what I'm saying? Because we supposed to celebrate each other.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think what's happened is that men have said we haven't dedicated any time to highlighting the things that it takes to be a man. It's kind of like if you got it, you assume to some degree that other people got it. You know what I'm saying?
I used to.
You used to. I'm just saying like none of what I'm saying is like applicable to present day. You know what I'm saying? Because like your parents do a job of setting a tone of atmosphere. So you kind of think that same atmosphere is what other people experience, especially when it's reinforced by the TV, you know what I'm saying, that you raised by, you know, also. Well, what's on TV during, you know, as it corresponds. Like you have to balance out entertainment versus reality, you know what I'm saying? Right. And then somewhere in there is your parents' rules.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got extremes on all of it. And somewhere in there is the mix of all of that, because they grew up on the same stuff too. You know what I'm saying? They grew up with, like our parents grew up with what? Gunsmoke. Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
The Archie Bunker Gang. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I said that.
Good times.
All in the family. Good times. You know what I'm saying? You name it. And somewhere in there, I definitely remember my mom and my daddy saying Florida was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like with some of the stuff that she did to good times. She did,
right. Florida was wild.
Family. Yeah. So like when you think about that and mirror that same situation what we got now, the entertainment mirrors the home. Like when you look at reality TV.
Right. Oh shit.
Come on, man.
Oh shit.
Come on, man.
I don't even check it out, man. I don't even look at it.
I know, because the way that your household was ran and the way that you was raised,
you not watching that.
Remotely attractive to you.
You didn't even know that show was on TV.
I got enough. I don't need to demo nobody else's problems.
I don't need to think about that.
Nah. Because you really could film, like I really could film in here.
Yeah.
And put it out. And they'd be like, yo, it's going, that's what's happening inside of there. Because when you got enough going on, your day-to-day life is a TV show almost.
It really is, man.
Like you could just have somebody just follow you around.
It just hits you like that too. It just happens one day when you just look up, you're like, damn, man, some crazy stuff always just. I ain't got no response. I ain't do that, but I got to deal with it.
But here I go.
I don't like my kids. I don't like my wife watches it, but I don't like it. I don't even like them because they start believing that's reality. Like that's what really can't happen.
That's what.
Nah, all this is makeup, make believe.
And all of those people are sexually undisciplined.
and they trick these kids. Look, they trick them kids with this stuff.
Look, Scrappy was raised in a whorehouse.
Richard Pryor too.
Yeah.
Like the degree, like look, our entertainers and athletes come from certain situations that are worth writing about. Like it sucks.
But the thing about society though, we fighting a losing battle because sex sells, hypersexualized. I was talking about Instagram the other day. I can't even do it, but the stuff they show on Instagram, it might as well be soft porn.
They need to change Instagram to instant gratification.
Hey,
nah, bro. We lost already.
Yeah,
we lost.
Yeah.
We lost.
We lost.
We are lost, and we lost.
And it's a double entendre. We lost, and the game is over. We lost.
Pornhub, you got 12, 10
You got the Amazon.
kids,
You got the Amazon of porn.
10, 12-year-old kids. They got look whatever they want to look at.
You can't even recognize.
That is crazy, bro. That is crazy to me.
Yeah,
hypersexualized. Everything is
crazy to me.
So when you telling young men to be sexually disciplined, because I know when 16, 17, 18, 19, everywhere I went, I'm up there, I'm wondering what's up under that dress. I'm in middle school. I'm trying to find out what's going on. I just watched Porgy. I just watched all that where they just showing in this indecent proposal.
you just sit over there like this.
I'm trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah. And see, the difference is back then to now, you couldn't pay $6.99 and see what's under her dress.
and have it in your hand.
And have it in your hand. Now, just think about how
subscription
some women are getting their money these days, right?
Oh.
Now, imagine being in the 7th grade. I got my phone, and here go your mama OnlyFans. Here go your mama OnlyFans.
Your mama on OnlyFans.
Right here.
Yeah.
So it ain't no more your mama jokes.
Yeah.
Your mama's twerking on my screen.
Yeah.
Man, this is why
I'm glad I was born. I don't want none of that.
Bro,
I don't want none of that.
You remember the smoke that used to go with your mama jokes?
And they never seen your mama.
Ain't never seen your mama.
The person
now
you about to fire off on couldn't pick your mama out of lineup.
Look.
Or they probably had, except my mama. They saw me. They knew what my parents looked like.
Yeah, because
they were frequent visitors to the establishment. So everybody knew what my parents looked like. Like, yeah, they go Drew parents. They back.
Oh, okay. They tell Drew to come on up here. I see his mama.
Yeah, they back for their weekly visit. Visit.
So what do we do? We can't stop social media.
No.
I think that's why, like I said, the conversation and education for those that are available, but I also think not only raising my kids, I raise other people's kids too.
Man, tell them about your background, man, because you dropping nuggets here and there.
Yeah, and I'm just meeting you for the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued already because you've been spitting since we've been on here.
Yeah, man. So my wife and I, we have 4 of our own, boy, girl. But going along the way, my wife's half sister, she had three, my niece and 2 nephews. So she had some problems and some issues going on, and we just couldn't leave them in that situation. So we adopted them too. They were about 12, 13, that age frame, right? And so this is where we're at for Stewart. Mm-hmm. So I'm an E5. I got 10 people living in a 3-bedroom mobile home, trying to raise her kids and then also raise our kids too. So the oldest girl graduated, and the 2 of them, I took them over to Germany with me. So right now, the 2 oldest, they O3s in the Army. The youngest nephew, he's a commercial truck driver. My oldest boy, he just made E5. He was Camp Blanding Soldier of the Year last year. And I have a senior at the University of North Florida, junior at University of Florida, and my youngest is a sophomore at Florida Community College.
Y'all smoked that.
But though, my son, my oldest biological son, during his senior year, he had 2 friends that was in a bad situation. They were good kids, but one, the mom had a gambling problem, lost a house and everything else. The other one, he had like 4 siblings, and they were living in a 2-bed single-parent home. And so what I did, I brought them two into my house with my oldest son. And so one stay was for 5 years and the other one stay was for 3 years. So everything my son did, they did. Get the driver's license, start working at UPS, sign up for college, go in the military. So 2 out of 3 of them went in the military. So that's the one that just got Pen D5. The other one's about to go to PLDC.
Yeah,
so I brought them in, and now they look at me like pops, you know.
Yeah.
Because I pretty much raised them. And then so like I said, man, I was talking to my wife the other day, and I'm like, man, we done raised about 10, 12 kids, and ain't nobody give us a goddamn dime. we done raised all these kids, man. Ain't nobody give us nothing.
Unsung.
Oh, yeah, man.
See, and that's exactly why the conversation has to be had, because you don't know who you walking past. You don't know who you standing next to.
No, man. Like y'all took them to reform school, man. Like y'all
man. My oldest nephew, the 03 down here, he's 33 now. He called me about me and the wife probably about 2 months ago. He said, man, he said, Uncle Barry, he said, I was thinking about it, man. And when you got us, you was 26 years old. He said you was 26 years old and you had all of us. And he said, man, I'm 33 and I don't think I could have did that. And he said that he just wanted to thank us, you know, thank us for what we did for him, because he wouldn't be where he's at. His sister they wouldn't be where they are right now if my wife and I didn't do what we did.
Y'all helped them break the cycle, man, because they were about to spin that family into a cycle of turmoil. And now they all got something that they can take and start their own families with. Man,
these my niece and nephew down here killing the game. My nephew, man, he's an 03, he's a captain. His wife's a captain, you know what I'm saying? My other niece, the niece that's down, the oldest girl, she's a captain. Her husband is a E7 that just switched over, became a second lieutenant. They killing it.
Oh, they tax brackets is different.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at them like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me hold some. What y'all doing? No, dog. Hey, Father's Day gifts got to be crazy. Nah, man, y'all know. Send it over. Send it over.
But I'm so happy for them, though, man, that they
man,
because where they came from,
they weren't supposed to make it.
Man,
they weren't supposed to. That's right. That's right.
And the fact and the real love about that, man, all those kids, they called me almost weekly and just asked my thoughts and my recommendations on things.
And that's the win, man. That's the win.
That's it.
That's the win. That's the win. That's the win. Man. That's gotta be a good feeling, man, knowing that you molded so many 10 people, man. Yeah. You know what I was doing when I was 26?
Hey, I can imagine.
26, I wasn't even doing nothing crazy. I was nowhere near as responsible.
Sorting my life out.
What I just got out of the army. I was still living with my parents, I think, when I had just moved back in with my parents. And you taking other people's kids in.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I tell you, man, a lot of people don't I tell people when you get married or you decide to get married, because I recommend to mine, I say, look, man, until you turn about 26, 27, don't even really, you know, we can have the discussion, but we shouldn't be having no discussions about getting married. You gotta
man. My dad told me the same thing, man.
Establish yourself, find out where you at, where you want to be, and then move on that.
Yep.
But yeah, man, at that age, when you do get in a relationship like that, you really giving up yourself.
It's over with.
That's the only way it works, man.
You know,
you gotta be invested. Hey,
and a lot of us don't understand that. And I don't know if a lot of women understand that. Me and my brother say, hey, look, women always talking about, hey, I want to get married, I want a husband, but are you willing to do what it requires to keep that husband?
It'll be different if they say, I'm ready to be a wife.
Yeah, that's the approach.
Instead of saying I want a husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to center it on what you're ready to be responsible for.
Have you even thought about them responsibilities?
And that's why, like on the no code situation, it's because there's a lack of objectivity, and you don't get that until you have experience. Like you put yourself to the side, you had to be in a position for that to even be an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like
Correct.
You wasn't in survival mode. Like if you was in survival mode, you couldn't think about nothing like that.
Nope.
You can't think about nothing like that when you're in survival mode, you know. And
what was it, E5?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. hey, you didn't know what a struggle was yet, but you were just going with what you had. You know what I'm saying? Because like when you have like a full house like that, it ain't for you anyway. See, that's the thing. Like you knew what you had to work with, and it was gonna always be enough because Barry don't need nothing.
I'm good.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna go without. That's why I say like if a man has to be of service,
it got to be.
It can't, because it's not about you. It's about everybody else.
And I think that's what we understand. To bring it full circle, I think men understand that. They got to be of service.
You have to be of service.
Yeah.
And that's what accountable masculinity is all about. It don't matter if you're a beta. It don't matter if you're alpha. If you ain't accountable, you ain't useful. Don't nobody call useless people.
If don't nobody,
Look, if your phone dry, you ain't no good to nobody.
You ain't no good to nobody.
If certain people, their phone stop ringing, like you should know you didn't make it. The attrition rate.
Man, that dude, what was that dude, Tate or whatever?
Andrew Tate?
Yeah, Andrew Tate. He was saying something about his grandmother. He said, man, my grandmother, she had a birthday party. She was some age or whatever. And she looked across the room and see generations of generations that came from her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he believed like in her eyes, that has to be like success.
Has to be
success.
Because don't nobody want to work forever. They ain't talking about like when you get old and get up out of here, they don't talk about where you work.
And these other women, he said, now when you get to that age and you look out there and ain't nobody out there looking back at you, what do you claim success?
What grandmama's looking at is all the people that she served over the years.
That's it.
Purpose.
That's it.
Like when you have an alignment and a goal, like man, Granny, come on, man. Granny, you know, our great grandmama said the tone. Like at some point, whatever you did was gonna get back to her.
Oh shit, dog. And that you wanted to get back.
You didn't want it.
Yeah.
You never wanted it to get back to Granny.
Nah, because she gonna direct it where it's supposed to go, and somebody gonna deal with you. And a lot of the times, you know, you can kind of see how that guidance kind of like trickled down. You know what I'm saying? Because at some point, she knew what you was up to. You wasn't a date, man. Come on, you wasn't gonna go stay in her care, and she not know what's going on with you.
She not know what was up with you.
Yeah, she was like that was, your parents gonna correct that. I'm gonna take care of you while you here, because you know what I'm saying. You my great grandchild. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm not gonna step on a date.
But you going back to the trenches. You going back to the trenches.
Where you gotta go.
Yeah. But still going back to the trenches.
While you in my care, now I gotta tell the story. You brought Granny up. I gotta tell it. When he was younger, like Granny was a thug for all intents and purposes. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
She wasn't with none of that. Now once she started having grandchildren, that's what her focus shifted to, right? But before that, we was running shot houses, doing that type of situation, right? We was outside.
Yeah.
Now, when he was younger, he was sickly, right? Like he might have been. I'm not. You premature?
I think I was. Yeah.
I just remember that he couldn't drink the same kind of milk we drunk. Like he had to drink like
I had goat milk.
Like goat milk or some shit, right?
I had pretty bad allergies. I had asthma. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed going back and forth to the hospital.
I used to hate on him because when Granny used to mix in his goat milk, she used to give him the little Nestle Quick. We didn't get that. I be like, nah, I want asthma too. Like, what are we doing? So he got the asthma, all that. So he got breathing issues. Lady across the street is burning like some trash or some leaves or whatever, right? So you know how that go. This is a residential area. This ain't out in the county. Right. This is inside the city limits. She shouldn't be doing this anyway. Limits, yeah. So smoke everywhere. Granny gets up, grabs her a little thing of water and her 38, walks across the street holding the gun, pulls the water and say, "Hey, that boy over there, my grandson got asthma. You don't burn up nothing on this street." Dang. Smokey the Bear stopped all the fires right then.
No problem.
But that's just how Granny, and she was like that for all of us. You was not in the neighborhood that she lived in, it wasn't good. Right. So she didn't even you couldn't get off the porch at Granny house.
No.
Like when your feet left her porch, you were getting in your parents' car.
Yeah.
It wasn't none of that. Whatever she said stayed that way. Our great grandfather, we would be over there in her house. We didn't go to daycare. Right. He'd be outside for 6 hours working on lawnmowers or whatever.
In the garage.
He didn't want no smoke inside the house.
God.
She looked out the back window and said, "Lunch," and then he come back.
He come and eat.
Eat his lunch and head on back.
He gone back.
Yeah, ain't wasn't no problem.
Now imagine having a house full of. Just imagine it today having say 6, 7 kids in the house, and you got a PlayStation or something sitting over there, right? Somebody gonna touch that PlayStation. We're gonna turn it on. We're gonna get some 2K. Yeah. Granny had an Atari in her bedroom.
Playing
did you ever play it? I never seen
I did.
None of us
She let me play it. She let me play it. I was different.
See, because he was drinking goat milk. He got to play.
I had to let quick in the goat milk, man. You know what I'm saying?
That fucking Atari ain't help you breathe no better, man.
Still ain't.
That's that sacrifice, man.
Yeah, like once the kids and the grandkids came, you can tell and the way she was then that all of that stopped. When they started telling us about life before us, I was like, who granny? My granny?
Yeah. Couldn't even picture.
But that's just what the solid motherfuckers was doing.
Yeah.
Like once it was time to be responsible and accountable, that's what time it was.
But that's the thing, man. You supposed to. I saw this little thing or meme that said, the only person that wants their son to do better than him is his dad.
Huh.
And I think like with my sons and my family, I want all of mine to do better than me. Like I stopped at major. I want my nephew and my niece, I want them to be colonels. You know what I'm saying?
Go.
And the next one, I'm the first officer, first graduate, college graduate in my family. Mm-hmm. I want my masters, who will get their doctorate first?
Yeah,
what do I need to do to help you get to that next level?
Sexually disciplined households produce healthy competition.
And that's a healthy competition.
Yeah, that's a healthy competition. You know what I'm saying?
Because the niece, they talk trash a little bit. Like, yeah, Uncle Bert, I'm gonna hit this mill before, and it's all that fun.
Yeah,
like,
but
okay.
That's a healthy competition.
Competition, not who making a potato salad.
Right.
Way different.
Yeah.
But you see like the type of things that we can all associate with when it comes down to the type of households we was raised in. You know what I'm saying?
That's why we here talking.
And fact. And somebody that's sexually undisciplined ain't doing what we doing right now. It's 10:30 Central Time. They sending a "what you doing" text.
Oh, them eyes.
Oh, them eyes.
Them eyes get it popping.
Them eyes get it popping for real.
That little
yeah. Well, hey man, it's been a good conversation, man. Like
yo, it's been 2 hours. I'm looking at the time, it's been 2 hours already, man.
Yeah, man. Look, Ava done been on here 3-4 times. You know what I'm saying? So
she gonna get her 15 minutes one way or the other, man.
Yeah, man. So
she gonna get her 15.
I just want to end it with, you know, it's not all men and it's not all women, but it is all men and women that fit the behavior. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I harp on sexual discipline because you have to narrow down something to where we all can have a relatable experience. And at a minimum, we got to have a like minded foundation in order to have better conversations. We have to have accountability. We have to have introspection, have to have an ability to look at what you've done when you were living in your feelings, and then you had a significant emotional event that made you live in the facts. Because once you realize what could happen to you based off your own decisions, you change who you communicated with and even what you communicated to those same people. You know, once you had a better understanding of self. So when everybody can't go, this is what it feels like. And everybody has to make a decision on who can and can't go in their life. What are you making that decision based off of? Because when you think about getting older, think about the things you don't want to do. I think about personal safety because I don't want to be in a position where I can't defend myself or my loved ones. And when you start looking at what destabilizes environments, security environments, the trust in the home, it comes down to who you choose to have a sexual relationship with in most cases. So it's part of the vetting process. You got to look at people's past. People look at your past to decide if you're going to be a fair addition to a team and if you can maximize whatever message they're trying to do, you know. Well, you have to think of yourself as a company. You have to think of yourself as you have stock, you have value, you have use for other people. If you make the wrong decision with someone that's not as disciplined as you or somebody that's undisciplined, just outright, the chances can be the outcomes can be very dire in most cases, just like the video we watched earlier, you know, which was an extreme example, but it was also reality.
Yeah.
So our decisions we make are not our own. You know what I'm saying? We choose when you make selfish decisions, you're making decisions from the subjective. You have to learn to make objective decisions so we don't act on the subjective. And that requires a different level of objectivity, leadership, and accountability. And overall, men have code. Accountable men have code. Accountable men have sexual discipline. So this is Victor Vincent, my man Barry Farmer in the back, and my cousin Big Drew. Hey, we signing out. This has been an episode of Code Talk. Thank you for tuning in.